Mate! What is going on, everybody, on this Thursday, January 23rd, 2024, 2025? My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today as Donald Trump sends 1,500 troops to the border, completing another campaign promise of his. The winning just does not stop. All of the right people continue to be very, very upset and very perturbed, very confused by this happening, even though Donald Trump said he was going to do it. You know, for all the talk about how Donald Trump is this and Donald Trump is that, he's actually the most transparent politician we've probably ever had in this country. Let's be honest, he tells you what he's going to do before he does it. I see absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. Some people who do not seem to enjoy this very much is the mainstream media, but they are continuing their mass layoffs. Mass layoffs are coming at places like CNN, The Washington Post, and the Associated Press. I'm actually not thrilled about it. If I'm being totally honest with you, and I'm going to tell you why. Also, the state of Washington is putting out a memo on how to defy federal law by hiding illegal immigrants all throughout the state of Washington. Yeah, that's a crime. That's a crime. Denying federal, so hopefully we get some prosecutions of federal officials who decide to flout the law. And shockingly, I am going to agree with a policy proposed by Kathy Hochul. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Some of you may not like this. Some of you may like it. I can't believe I even said it out loud, but I'm gonna keep it up. I'm going to agree with a proposal by Kathy Hochul. It's gonna be weird. Look, it feels weird. It feels weird saying it out loud. I'll be honest. Before we get started, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Hit the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and hit the like button. Hit the notification bell so that you'll get updated every time we go live. Every day, 1 p.m., right here on whatever channel it is you may be watching on. If you're watching on X, please do repost the video. Kay, thank you for reposting it, as always. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that @ button. Boom. Giddy up. Let's go. We are rocking, and of course, if you are watching on Rumble, make sure you're watching rumble.com/LFATV. That is the best place to find this channel, this show, at all times. Let's dive right in, because something pretty wild is happening, and a lot of people don't really know how to handle it. Donald Trump has instructed the U.S. military to protect America. Wow. This has certainly gotten a lot of very upset people. This has certainly gotten a lot of people into quite the tizzy, one would say. What a shocking notion, as opposed to what the U.S. military is usually doing, and that's protecting the oil reserves of other countries. 1,500 more troops have now been sent to the border. I want to be clear, their role is not clearly defined because of certain laws that are in place, most particularly the Posse Comitatus Act that says the U.S. military cannot engage in domestic law enforcement, which we don't break the law here on the American right. We don't do that. We're not Democrats. However, they will be going down there to aid in border wall, border obstruction, building, and in many supplementary roles for our great Border Patrol. Let's pull this up right here. This from Fox News. The Pentagon is sending 1,500 additional troops to the southern border. Giddy up. Let's go. I'm liking every bit of this. I'm liking it a lot. 2,500 U.S. service members are already stationed along the southern border. So Donald Trump has almost doubled the amount of troops down at the border. A senior U.S. military official told reporters that 1,500 active duty troops will consist of 1,000 Army personnel and 500 Marines. That's a 60% increase in active duty ground forces since President Trump was sworn in on Monday. Acting Secretary Robert Salasses, I think his name is, said in a statement late on Wednesday. There are already 2,500 troops down at the border stationed down there. The troops were ordered there in May of 2023 during the Biden administration under the Title X authorities, which were approved by then Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, and are planned to be in place through the end of this year, according to the U.S. Northern Command spokesperson. Now, I do appreciate the fact that Joe Biden sent troops down to the border 3 years after the crisis began. Nothing says thank you like taking your sweet ass time to fix any sort of problems. But I guess we'll take what we can get from that useless administration. We'll take what we can get. The added troops will work on the placement of physical barriers and other border missions, though it has been years since troops have worked on physical border barriers. We'll be providing aerial support, rotary wing, and airlift capabilities, and deploying some intelligence analytics for enhanced detection and monitoring activities, and potentially some intelligence assets as well. Now, look, I want to be clear, and I've said it, I'll say this a few times just to make sure everyone is aware of it. The physical presence of U.S. troops on the southern border does not mean they can stop anybody physically from entering the country. But what it does do, and I think this is most important, is that if there's people walking around the border, it will deter people from sneaking in. Kind of like when you see a cop on the side of the road, or a cop car on the side of the road, you slow down. Everyone does that. I don't care who you are. You see a cop, you drive slightly less fast. Now, I know none of you out there speed. I know none of you would go over the designated speed limit. However, if you were one of those people who were going to do that, you slow down. Very often, when they're in a high-crime area, police officers will just leave a squad car in a parking lot just to deter people from, say, I don't know, breaking into any of the stores that are there. This is a routine thing that people do, because when there is a law enforcement presence, it deters people from crime. What a thought! I know I'm really stumbling on to some PhD-level criminal justice classes here, but, I just live in the real world. Some troops are being deployed to the southern border, were on call, or actively working to support the California wildfires, though they were released from that mission and are now being reassigned. Of course, they had to throw that in there. Unlike previous border missions, the 500 Marines being sent will be armed and have their magazines in their weapons. Good, because what the hell's the point of having a gun unless it's loaded? That would seem to make sense. The first wave of U.S. troops will not be engaged in law enforcement, but the rules of engagement will follow for self-defense. That is also mission critical. They will not be engaged in law enforcement, as I said. However, if someone on the Mexican side shoots at them, they can shoot back. Here is the news report of the military at the border.
This morning, the first 1,500 U.S. troops are arriving at the southern border as President Donald Trump launches his long-promised crackdown on immigration. The active duty Army soldiers and Marines deployed to address what Trump declared is a national emergency. The Pentagon says the troops include military police units, combat engineers, and intelligence specialists who will aid with detection and monitoring. The military will also help construct new barriers along the border and provide air power for deportations. A senior defense official saying, "This is just the start. We are anticipating many further missions."
This is just the start, baby. This is just the start. And of course, this comes as multiple raids have been carried out all throughout the country. All throughout the country, most notably in places like Chicago and Boston. I can't wait for it to come here to New York. It literally can't happen fast enough. Of course, that comes as Eric Adams sat down with Tucker Carlson over the course of the last several days and basically saying that the Democratic Party has thrown him under a bus. Now, look, I don't trust Eric Adams. I think he's a fair weather friend. I think he knows his political career is all but over, and he's basically just out here begging for whatever he can get. Now, with that being said, I'll take it. I'll take it. I would rather have some of these elected officials operate out of fear than out of principle, because let's be honest here. If you're waiting for politicians to act on principle, you're going to be waiting a long time. You're going to be waiting a long time. Need you see any more of this? Then look at the Laken-Riley Act that passed the House of Representatives. 46 Democrats voted with Republicans to pass the Laken-Riley Act. Now, do you think that it is because they had some stunning epiphany? Do you think all of a sudden they woke up and they were like, wow, maybe we should deport illegal immigrant criminals? No. They're probably all in swing districts, and they know damn well that they're going to either face a primary or a very hard Republican challenger if they do not join with the American people in a little thing I call reality. But, as I said, I will continue to thank Democrats when they enter that thing called reality that it turns out the American people are huge fans of. Here was just this isn't even for illegal immigrant criminals. This is just for mass deportations as a whole. CNN is bemused by the fact that it turns out most Americans are actually in favor of this.
Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deport all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters.
So if they say yes today-ish, how has that changed over time?
Yeah, this is where I think you get very interesting. And so we'll take a look at that ABC News question in particular because you can really see that there's been a massive shift from when Trump was first getting into office 8 years ago, right? Deport all undocumented immigrants. You go back to 2015, I'm going to come to your side of the screen, it was 42%. Hello. Go to 2016, it was 36%. Look at where we are now. This was taken at the end of last year, 56%. This is 20 points higher than it was just before Trump got into office the first time. So feelings towards immigration in this country, feelings towards undocumented immigrants and deporting all of them have become considerably more hawkish. And I think that gives Donald Trump much more leverage to go with the American people and sort of have these hawkish, some might say harsh, different rhetoric and also issue-based sort of going after immigrants who are here illegally. And so I think the American people are going to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt to do what he wants to do, at least if you believe these blunt questions, including this one.
How about immigration levels?
Yeah, okay. So this sort of goes in line with that, right? Which is, again, trying to get at the underlying feelings. Want immigration levels decreased. This includes legal and illegal immigration. Look at this. Last year, 55%. That is the highest level since the 9/11 aftermath. You go back just to 2020.
And this, again, legal and
Illegal
illegal.
and
So they
illegal.
people want less people coming into the country.
Exactly. They want less people coming into the country. Look at that. That's a 14-point rise from 2023. You go back to 2016 when Donald Trump again was running for president the first time. It was 38%. That's a 17-point rise. So the bottom line is more folks want people who are here illegally deported, and their overall feelings towards immigration have become considerably more hawkish since Donald Trump was first getting in office, Kate.
And that is not even to say the illegal immigrant criminals that are in the country, the rapists and the murderers. That's not even to say that, because those numbers are exceedingly higher. Now, with that being said, of course, all of the people you might think are the ones who are most upset about this. That, of course, would be the members of the squad, the illustrious, the incredible, the brilliant members of the squad. AOC in particular, she is very bemused. She is verklempt at this very notion. Suddenly, AOC is concerned about due process. Due process. AOC. Really? You're concerned with the idea of due process. Well, I find that ironic. Of course, you weren't as concerned with the due process rights of, say, January 6thers, as we pop the live chat up onto the screen. Hello, 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 everybody. What's happening? Make sure I say hello to everybody in the chat. I didn't say it before. Didn't get a chance to say it before. Andrew, what's going on? AC Knight, how are you? Jeanette, how are you? Hello to everybody watching all over the place. Let me fix this real quick. Sorry about that. Say hello to everybody watching in the live chat. For some reason, every time I pop my live chat up, it's a little bit odd. Liz, what's going on? Sagan, how are you? K-Mac, what is happening? What up, Callie? What up? T-Man, how are you? Bobby Driver, Green Broccoli, what's happening? TD Hodges, hello, hello. Also, for my middle Pennsylvania crowd, my central PA crowd, I may have an announcement coming up very, very soon. I will give you guys a bit of a teaser as that gets a little bit closer, but I may be in your neck of the woods. I may be in your neck of the woods very, very soon, somewhere in the Harrisburg area. So I will keep you guys all informed of that. Also, some big stuff going to be happening over here locally. Make sure you guys tune in for all the updates there. So obviously, this has upset many people on the radical left, most notably AOC, who seems very concerned with the concept of due process now that it affects illegal immigrants, because, of course, illegal immigrants don't live where she lives in upstate New York. No, she's not really from the Bronx. She just went down there slumming with some of her friends when she was in college. But she's very upset that some people will not receive their day in court.
I want the American people to know what is in this bill. Because in the guise and in the wake of tragedy, we are seeing a fundamental erosion of our civil rights. In this bill, if a person is so much as accused of a crime, if someone wants to point a finger and accuse someone of shoplifting, they will be rounded up and put into a private detention camp and sent out for deportation without a day in court, without a moment to assert their right and without a moment to assert the privilege of innocent until proven guilty. Without being found guilty of a crime, they will be rounded up. That is what is inside this bill, a fundamental suspension of a core American value. And that is why I rise to oppose it. If you're a dreamer, all someone has to do is point a finger and you will be rounded up. And we have seen moments like these happen before. In the Patriot Act, in the wake of the travesty of 9/11, a fundamental suspension of American civil liberties. That is what we are seeing here today.
Let's be clear, as much as I hate the Patriot Act, as much as I absolutely hate that, let's not pretend AOC is talking about Americans' rights there. She's probably talking about the rights of people who may or may not be part of a sleeper cell. Just saying. I'm not saying... I'm just saying. But it's very simple. Just show your ID and you'll be fine. Show a school ID, show a driver's license, a U.S. ID. Everybody has one. Everybody has one. This shouldn't be difficult. Show a bank statement or show anything really. That shouldn't be a challenge, but to AOC, that is. AOC seems burdened by what will be. You know what's so interesting about this? This whole thing with the illegal immigration and having to show ID and the like. I want to tell you guys about a woman named Jan Brewer. A woman named Jan Brewer. Now, some of you may know who that is. Some of you may not know who that is. But many moons ago, Jan Brewer was the governor of Arizona, who tried to pass a similar bill in the state of Arizona did pass it and faced huge pushback, saying that if you're an illegal immigrant, all you've got to do is show ID and you'll be totally fine. No one will hassle you. That faced major pushback in 2010. But now, those dreams are coming to fruition. And look, I want to be clear. Such drastic measures would not have to be taken if Democrats, as usual, were able to tamper down their most radical wing. But because we have spent the last 10 years being invaded, because this has happened nonstop over and over and over again, because when Donald Trump was in office, you tried to hamper every single attempt he made to pass anything, now we're just going to ram things through. And we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done because that's what the American people were promised. Now, we can sit back and let people like AOC and Rashida Tlaib bitch and moan all they want. But in the words of Barack Obama, elections have consequences. You lost. You lost bigly. You lost all over the country. You lost on the West Coast, in the Midwest, in the Sun Belt, up, down, left, right, center, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, from Canada to Mexico. You lost. The American people told you that your way of running this country was not good enough for the rest of us. So you don't get to sit there. You don't get to sit there and somehow be morally outraged and you can't believe people want this. Here is Rashida Tlaib. We all know which people she's talking about.
Enough is enough. It will separate families. It would lead again to continued discrimination. It's shameful that my colleagues are giving in to racist fear-mongering at the first opportunity to pass legislation to scapegoat our immigrant neighbors and fuel hate in our communities. I know what's going to happen. It won't just be undocumented. It'll be people like my mother who will get stopped and profiled. She have to carry her U.S. passport around? Are we asking people allowed to have documentation? That's what you want to turn our neighborhoods into, is militarization?
I yield the gentlelady an additional 30 seconds.
The gentlelady is recognized.
I just ask all of you to truly understand what this will do to our communities. I urge our colleagues to please vote no on this divisive bill. And it's so important to understand what you're going to turn our communities and our neighborhoods into. We can't allow that to continue to happen. With that, I yield.
Are we asking people to carry around identification? Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Shouldn't be complicated. I mean, what a thought. Let me ask you guys. Everyone watching, a couple thousand people watching right now. When you leave the house, do you have ID on you? In your wallet? In your purse? In your car? Not sure why this is difficult. Cheesy Frankie on Facebook makes a great point. They asked for papers during COVID. Give me a break. Rules for thee, but not for me. Absolutely, Cheesy Frankie, shout out. Rashida Tlaib didn't seem to mind too much the COVID papers we all had to carry around here in places like New York and New Jersey and California. Somehow that didn't keep her up at night. But God forbid her mother is inconvenienced. They did this to themselves. They did this to themselves with their radical policy. They did this by never tamping these people down. Do I want people on the street to be hassled? Of course I don't. However, I also don't want roving bands of illegal immigrants knocking over stores, in dramatic fashion. I don't want those who have Interpol warnings on them taking up residency in our major American metros. I don't want that. And it turns out most Americans, based on the polling data you just saw, most people don't want that either. Laura has her ID on her at all times. So does Andrew. Everyone seems to. Except AOC. It's funny, AOC. You need ID to get into the Capitol building. Are you being profiled when you enter into work? I don't think so. None of this seems like it's really that big of an ask. But the Democrats come out with their buzzwords again: profiling, racism. All they missed was transphobia and misogyny, and they would have ran the gamut. You know, if you can fit racism, misogyny, and transphobia into one sentence, you actually win a car from the Democrats. It's like The Price is Right for stupid people. They just don't get it. That this is the reason they look. Maybe they do. Maybe they do understand. Maybe they do understand that this is why they lost. And maybe they just don't care. I'm all here for it. I'm here for it. Because we are going to continue. And I want you guys to prepare yourselves for something. I want you guys to prepare yourselves, and you can mark this down. You can bookmark this. You can cut this image, cut this page, save whatever the hell it is. I can promise you this. As the raids continue, you are going to see, are you ready for this? People concentrating in a certain area. And Democrats and AOC and Rashida Tlaib, they will naturally refer to these places as concentration camps, giving you some sort of a hearkening back to a different time in world history. Now, of course, there is no relevancy to reality to this, because it turns out when those people were put in concentration camps, they weren't allowed to leave, whereas we will put people in camps where they concentrate, where the only goal is to get them out. There is a big difference between a wall that forces you to stay in, which is kidnapping, and a wall that keeps you out, which is called your home. This, I would think, is not rocket science, but maybe it is for some of our Democratic friends. Maybe it is. But we're going to keep seeing multiple images coming out of these raids. Here's some of them.
This afternoon, NBC 10 saw multiple unmarked SUVs here. 5 people, some wearing vests that said police federal agents on the back, went inside one of the apartment buildings.
Sorry, I cut the clip a little short there. Sorry about that. But yes, those were raids in Boston. Great. Sanctuary cities, giving people the power to do what they need to do. Giving the Border Patrol the ability to do their job. The American people voted for this, and the American people are going to get it. Here's one guy very, very upset because he doesn't want to go back to Haiti. Now, I want to be clear. When I say this, and I say this in the most delicate way imaginable, you're going home. You're going back. You're going back immediately. You're going back as soon as humanly possible. Jeanette says I'm having a good hair day. Thank you. Thank you. It's all about the hair. Here's one guy very, very upset that he's going to be making the trip back to Port-au-Prince any day now.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction.
Señor, ¿cómo se llama?
And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, This man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally. This is what ICE calls collateral.
Adios. Adios, muchacho. Turns out if you're in America and you had an arrest for heroin trafficking, you don't get to live here anymore. This is, look, as I have said numerous times, America has the most welcoming, the broadest, the most liberal immigration policy in the world. Not in North America, not in English-speaking countries, not in the Western Hemisphere, not in modern culture. No, in the world, okay? In the universe, in the galaxy, there is no place in the world that is more welcoming than the United States. But if you have gun charges, if you're an MS-13 member, if you have been a narco-terrorist and a narco-trafficker, you have to leave. I am not sure why anybody has a problem with this. Unless, of course, the people who have a problem with it for nefarious reasons. Unless they want some of our cities to continue to be destroyed by this. Now, we'll never know that because AOC would never, ever, ever, ever sit down with anyone who disagrees with her because she is part of the generation who has never been told that they're wrong before. I know AOC comes from the University Economics Department where shoplifting is only a crime of poverty. And if everyone just had universal basic income, free childcare, free schooling, and free Medicare, then they wouldn't, rob Louis Vuitton bags. But it turns out they do. Because criminals are going to criminal. That's what makes someone a criminal. This is not challenging stuff. But some people... Kay says, you say heroin trafficking is bad. Yet the left kept saying fighting the fentanyl pandemic. What is most often laced with fentanyl? You got that right. You got that right. But to many of these people, it doesn't affect us until it affects them. And that is the problem with the modern left. I hate to use this as an example, but Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks, maybe one of the most famous leftists in the world. I would love to chat with Anna because she is going through a political crisis at the moment where she's being called out by her own side for making sense. She understands that LA is a dumpster fire. Poor choice of words. That's not what I meant. Don't do that. Don't Patriot takes, that's not what I meant. Right Wing Watch, take it easy. That's not what I meant. That LA is a cluster. And it is because of these sorts of policies that have gone unchecked for decades. Now, it didn't have to be this way. These things could have been changed. And they could have been changed if we had an honest media. But we don't have one of those. And we'll get to the repercussions of their actions in just a second. Before we do that,
you're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD, for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Support the people who support shows like this one by going to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So, CNN is ready to lay off Hundreds of employees. Very soon, the only person working at CNN is going to be James Earl Jones on the commercial saying, "You're watching CNN." Of course, CNN cuts follow similar moves by other major media outlets like the Washington Post, the Associated Press, and NBC News. Now, this is not great. This is not good because I want to be clear. The people who are going to be fired from many of these networks, and it's not Anderson Cooper. It's not Jim Acosta, although we've got some news on him. It's not going to be Rachel Maddow, and it's not going to be the senior writers or the White House press corps at the Washington Post. It's going to be some kid out of college who might actually have good intentions, who might actually want to start their careers, who actually might be thrilled to work at a place like CNN and maybe make some real change from the inside. It's not going to be Anderson Cooper. It's not going to be Caitlin Collins, the woman with resting Joker face. It's going to be the peons. It's not going to be Van Jones or Alyssa Farah Rivera Ramirez, whatever the hell her name is, the one on The View. It's not going to be Abby Phillips. It's going to be some 22-year-old who probably just moved to New York City because they got a job at CNN and now is out of a job. CNN, this from the Post Millennial, is set to lay off hundreds of employees on Thursday as a broader effort in the restructuring in the business to prioritize a global digital audience, according to a report from CNBC. The network's layoffs are part of its efforts to focus on reducing production costs and consolidating teams, according to unnamed sources who spoke to CNBC. Additionally, some shows are currently being produced in New York and Washington may move to Atlanta, where the production costs are lower. Why would production costs be cheaper in Georgia than in New York and Washington, D.C.? Why would that be? What? Oh, right. It's a Republican state. Go figure. CNN is roughly 35,000 worldwide employees. The job cuts are not expected to affect the network's top talent. Of course. Of course not. Because God forbid you lay off the heir to the Vanderbilt fortune, where you could actually save some money, $20 million a year Anderson Cooper makes. Are you shitting me? $20 million a year? That is like shortstop money. The restructuring follows a town hall earlier this month in which CNN CEO Mark Thompson revealed that the parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, had invested over $70 million into CNN's digital operation. The funding will go towards hiring in areas such as data science and product development, which are seen as key growth opportunities. I don't know what the hell that means. In line with its digital pivot, CNN recently introduced a paywall charging frequent users $3.99 a month to use their website. Oh, yeah. People are going to use... Oh, yeah, okay. $4 a month to use CNN's website, yeah. Somehow, I think I'll... You know what? Now I'm going to start streaming CNN and just hack their content just because. Because why the hell not? The decision to delay layoffs until after President Trump's inauguration highlights the evolving media landscape in the United States. As traditional cable news continue to face decline in viewership, more consumers are turning to alternative platforms such as streaming services, social media, and podcasts. Yeah, you can tune in every day here at 1 p.m., and not only will you laugh, not only will you be informed, but I'm not going to lie to you. However, the one big problem that you're not going to get here, the one thing that you're not going to get here is you're not going to get people like Tim Burchett basically telling Jim Acosta that he's a fucking loser. Just saying.
Is covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes. Yeah. This is CNN. This is the news. We're asking you to
that's
come
why-
on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim.
Look, Tim Burchett. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. That's why more people are watching SpongeBob reruns than watching CNN right now. That is majestic. I mean, if there is an amount of money I could pay somebody to give me that opportunity, I think I would find a way to pay it. I would rob a bank if I had to, just to be able to tell Jim Acosta that more people are watching CNN. I'm sorry, more people are watching the Cartoon Network than watching their disgraceful platform. But there's a reason for that. And it's because CNN, look, it doesn't matter what network you're on, right? It doesn't matter whether you're on CNN or whether you're on Fox or whether you're on LFA TV. Most of us are going to have people we know on the show. It's easier to book those people. I find them interesting. You guys have seen, I've had my friends in the industry on for a while. But it's because they're interesting. I just have cooler friends than people on CNN. So while CNN continues, and this, guys, I'm going to keep showing you guys him because it doesn't matter who they throw at Scott Jennings over on CNN. He just doesn't lose. He just doesn't lose. Before we get to that, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. Sign up for the news. Sign up over at lfatv.us. God, my reads mixed up there. Check out Jeremy's store. While you guys are there, consider becoming monthly donors over at lfatv.us. That is the best way to support this network and everything we've got going on over here for all the on-the-ground reporting that we've got planned over the course of the next several months and years. Definitely Not Karen says, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? I'll let the chat answer that. Who, in fact, does live in a pineapple under the sea? I'm curious. Guys, head on over to lfatv.us. Guys, also make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button wherever you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that notification bell so that you get an update every day when we go live. There's a few of you watching over there. YouTube will not give me any love whatsoever. It sucks, but what are you going to do? It sucks, but what are you going to do? Kay, thank you for retweeting the show as always. Thank you so much for that. If you're watching, guys, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Leave me a comment down below. If you're watching on Rumble, hit the thumbs up button right there. So as I said, Scott Jennings, he can't be beaten. He cannot be beaten. It doesn't matter who you throw in front of him. Here's some guy that nobody's ever heard of trying to beat him. Doesn't go very well.
I think the question is, what are you going to do when people are getting arrested while you're dropping off your kid to school? Like,
I think if I were dropping my kid off at school and they showed up and arrested someone who, I don't know, had committed a violent crime or had existing adjudicated deportation orders, I would A, wonder why they were at the school, and B, say, great, finally, somebody is enforcing the law in the United States of America. I would have no problem with this, truthfully.
And the reality is, undocumented people are way less likely to commit crime.
But you admit there are some here that are.
Oh, absolutely. There are some. Like, there are some people who
And there's no disagreement amongst anybody that's part of that.
So if they were at a school, you'd agree it would be okay to come get them?
Yeah, but it's not just those people that are going to be deported, right? And so, I mean,
do we have a crisis in this country or not? 10 million people came here in the last 4 years. We've had no interest on the part of the last administration to do anything other than create this massive problem. He campaigned on it when he ran and wanted to invite a lot of people here. It's a crisis. People voted for Trump to solve the crisis. There's two issues. It's border security is one. That's a policy issue. But number two, it's an enforcement issue. And what they have said clearly time and again, violent populations, people who have committed violent crimes, and people who have existing adjudicated deportation orders is their top priority. I do not know how anyone, and this is what the New York Times poll said last weekend, could possibly disagree with that.
Yeah,
Where were the hues and cries under Obama when he deported 7 or 8 million? The economy did not collapse.
There actually
the fruit was picked. I mean, whatever it is you argue, I don't buy that the economy is
on this very night where somebody called him.
Well, I agree that there's a communication strategy here. The previous administration's communication strategy was get here, come here, and it'll probably work out for you. His communication strategy is, do not come here. Please don't. Do not invite anyone here. Do not expect to be left alone if you do come here and break our laws. Those are two vastly different messages. I prefer the second one, and as it turns out, so do most Americans.
Can I just say,
So we should assume
But
that
you all agree, if you have an existing, fully adjudicated
Yes.
deportation order,
Yes.
so that's 1.5 million people, and you all agree that if you are a violent criminal, either where you came from or here, that's another.
There's people who
that's
have
another, I don't
fully
know how many.
adjudicated deportation
This
orders
is these are
who
massive
have American
populations.
children, who are married to
I know, but
American spouses.
Do you respect the laws or not?
Who
Do you respect
have-
the courts or not?
Well,
Wait a second.
They went
Wait a
through the
second.
court
Okay,
system.
my God.
See, Anna Navarro, of course, she's got to backtrack. Well, look, if you're an illegal immigrant, you get convicted of a crime, you can't be deported because you may or may not have children in this country. Or you may be married to someone. I got news for you, okay? If I'm married and I have children and I commit a crime, I get separated from my family. This is not complicated, guys. It's not complicated at all. Apparently it is for Anna Navarro because Anna Navarro needs somebody to clean her house. Very odd. They start off with, well, of course, we got to get rid of the criminals. First off, that little guy with the facial expressions, illegal immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than regular Americans. False. That's just one of those things that people say and sound like a dumbass. You see, when you study politics, for as long as I have, there are certain triggers that'll go off in your head when you hear someone say something. For example, if I hear a person say, well, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. If I hear a person say, in America, we have the separation of church and state. Those two are among many sentences that will trigger a neurological reaction in my brain where when I hear it, my immediate response is, oh, you're a dumbass. You're just dumb. You heard your 7th grade teacher say that, and now you think it's the law, which, spoiler alert, it isn't. You can absolutely yell fire in a crowded theater. In America, we have no legal separation between church and state. None whatsoever. The only bit we might have is the Johnson Amendment that says you cannot campaign from the pulpit, which apparently you're allowed to do if you're a giant lesbian mule from the American Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C., in front of the incoming administration and the first and second family. You can do that. But there is no separation of church and state in America. And I get the same sort of feeling when I hear somebody say something, well, you know, illegal immigrants commit less crimes than American citizens. Really? Let's mention a few, and let's see how many of these are crimes and whether or not illegal immigrants commit them. Number 1, entering the country illegally. That would be a big one, I would say. Just saying. Number 2, all of those off-the-books jobs. Are they paying taxes on that income? Probably not. How could they pay taxes? They don't have a Social Security number. But Kevin, some do pay taxes on it because they have identification numbers. Yes, which wouldn't make them undocumented. Try and follow the words we've all agreed upon, people. Your circular logic is bemusing. It also doesn't make any sense if you've opened a book. Not like a lot of books. You don't got to read those. You know, those are some good ones. Check those out. On War, very good. 12 Rules for Life, very good. Atlas Shrugged, everyone should read that. Everyone should read Atlas Shrugged. Who is John Galt? But you're not going to read all the books. Just pick up a couple. Stop by the library and pick up the biggest ones you can find. Give it a read. But oh no, not Democrats. No, because you see, Democrats think that certain things are crimes and certain things aren't, which I'm going to try next time I get pulled over for speeding. Officer, you see, the thing is that I don't believe there should be speed limits, like in Germany. Parts of the Autobahn do not have speed limits. So because things happen in other countries in a certain way, therefore they ought to happen in this country that same way. That is the progressive democratic socialist mindset when it comes to everything else on planet Earth. So why shouldn't it work with this? Let's see how the officer responds. However, no one will care because I am the worst of all things. I am the worst of all things, and of course that would be white, straight, and a guy. But if I had a little bit more melanin, or if I was a pansexual leprechaun, I could basically do whatever the hell I want. Why not? It's what they do. It's what they do. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We're going to keep talking about some media silliness because, why the hell not? Why the hell not? Before we get to that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on. Also, guys, real quick, I know there are some people in the chat who this applies to. If you are a small business and you are looking to advertise your small business, maybe OFP Farms does on this network. If you guys are looking to do that, please reach out to me. I can promise you, you will not get a better bang for your buck anywhere on the internet. We offer some of the lowest rates among basically anybody on the internet. We're not trying to screw anybody over. We're just trying to keep the lights on here. One way to do that is to advertise with the network, with the show. And another way to do that would be by going to loudmajorityusa.com, signing up for our newsletter, checking out our shop. That is the best way to do it. Also, you guys can become monthly donors here to the Loud Majority. Let's pop this up. Bingo, bango. All the good stuff. Whoever designs this website is probably awesome. Whoever designs this website is probably awesome. Just saying. Look at this. Who the hell put this thing together? It is fan. What do you guys want to see? You guys want to see women, children, men's, or you know what? Let's go to accessories. Accessories are always a fun one. I don't show those enough on the show. Boom. Click through that one. Here it is. Page 1 of the shop. There we go. All the good stuff. You can pick up your whiskey glasses, your dark MAGA hats, all the good stuff. Look at this. There's dog stuff. Hello. Where's all the doggy stuff? You can pick up your MAGA tank top for your pup. All the good stuff. You can pick up your Stars and Stripes socks. We've got so much good stuff over there, guys. Check it out, loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. We really do appreciate all of the support, guys. Once again, hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Boom, let's go. Let's go. Let's see if we can get we've been getting over 300 the last couple of days. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, ZBM, we got candles, baby. We got candles. I don't think there's anything we don't have over there. Once again, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Apparently, the DOJ, based on this... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. What do we got here? Breaking at this hour. Apparently, for all of our Alaskan friends, is coming out at the moment. Lisa Murkowski plans to vote against Pete Hegseth. So, I guess we're all going up to the frozen tundra up in Alaska and going against her in 4 years. I got no issue with that whatsoever. Also, Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation hearing is scheduled for January 30th. That ought to be a fun one. Watching Democrats absolutely lose their minds. What was this? Hold on a minute. We just got another update. I love X. That's why I love X. The news breaks all day long on here. So there's always something to talk about. Let's get this loaded up real quick. Apparently a federal judge has just... come on. Let's go. Boom. Was that from the Post-Millennial? Yes, I think it was. A federal judge temporarily blocked Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. Yeah, well, like I said the other day, we all saw that coming. That shouldn't come as a shock to anybody. We knew it would be challenged in court. It was by the ACLU, and apparently a federal judge has since picked it up. So we will bring you guys all the updates on that tomorrow. Also, in the coming days, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or it's going to be Monday, we're going to have something very fun for you guys on the show. Very, very fun. So tune in for all that. Once again, guys, go to loudmajorityusa.com. So Kay wants to know, do you have liberal tear scented candles? No, but if you light one around your liberal neighbors, I'm sure they will begin to cry. Guys, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you all so, so much for tuning in. We'll be back live tomorrow. Until then, everybody, stay loud.